Echoes of the forgotten bunker. Deep in the heart of a dense forest, where sunlight barely pierced the thick canopy, there lay an abandoned bunker. It was a relic of a dark past, a place where unspeakable horrors had been perpetrated during the Second World War. The stories whispered among the locals spoke of experiments, torture, and a malevolent aura that clung to the very air around it. Few dared to venture near it, and those who did spoke of an overwhelming sense of dread that descended upon them as they drew closer. The trees seemed to lean away from it, as if recoiling from some sinister force. It was a place that time had forgotten, a place that had been claimed by the forest, consumed by the very nature that surrounded it. One sunny day, a group of 4 friends, drawn by morbid curiosity and the thrill of the unknown, decided to explore the bunker. There was Alex, the adventurous leader of the group, always eager to seek out the uncharted. Emily, the rational thinker who believed in scientific explanations. Mark, the skeptic who scoffed at superstitions. And Sarah, the daredevil who never backed down from a challenge. They arrived at the forest. The trees loomed like silent sentinels, their branches interlocking overhead, forming a natural tunnel leading to the bunker. It stood before them, a monolithic structure of concrete and steel, its entrance hidden behind overgrown bushes and vines. The atmosphere was stifling, as if the very earth held its breath, waiting for their first step. But they pressed forward, determined to uncover the secrets that lay within. As they entered the bunker, the air grew heavy, and the temperature dropped noticeably. The walls were covered in graffiti and dampness, evidence of previous explorers who had ventured here before. Faint echoes of footsteps seemed to reverberate through the tunnels, as if the very walls retained memories of long-forgotten occupants. Mark chuckled, dismissing the eerie ambience as mere imagination. They descended deeper into the labyrinthine bunker, their flashlights casting long, ominous shadows on the walls. Strange symbols etched into the stone caught Emily's attention. They were cryptic and indecipherable, their purpose shrouded in mystery. She made a note to research them later. Her scientific curiosity piqued. As they ventured further, they came upon a series of interconnected rooms. In one, they discovered rusted surgical instruments strewn about, a chilling reminder of the bunker's sinister past. In another, there were cells with rusted shackles hanging from the walls, where prisoners had once suffered in silence. Emily felt a shiver crawl down her spine, and Sarah gripped her arm tightly. Mark mocked them, but just then their flashlights flickered and died, plunging them into utter darkness. Panic set in as they fumbled for their phones, using their weak screens to cast feeble pools of light around them. In the dim illumination, they heard something that sent chills through their bones. A low, guttural growl echoing from the shadows. It was followed by an otherworldly whispering, as if voices from the past were murmuring secrets in a language long forgotten. Terrified, they fumbled with their phones, struggling to restore their flashlights. When the beams finally cut through the darkness again, they found themselves alone in a room that hadn't been there before. The walls bore grotesque paintings of monstrous figures, their eyes seemingly following the intruders. Panic welled up once more as they realized they were trapped in an ever-shifting maze. Their calls for help echoed through the eerie tunnels, unanswered by the forest that had swallowed them whole. Hours turned into an endless day, and the friends grew disoriented and weary. The air grew colder with every step, and their breath misted in front of their faces. Mark's skepticism had crumbled, replaced by a creeping dread that gnawed at him. Desperation drove them forward, blindly navigating through the maze, seeking an exit that remained elusive. Emily's scientific mind struggled to find a rational explanation, but the bizarre symbols on the walls defied all reason. As they pressed on, the whispering grew louder, the voices becoming distinct, speaking in an alien tongue that seemed to penetrate their very souls. Their phones, their only source of light and communication, began to flicker once more. Amidst the oppressive darkness, they saw flickering shadows moving along the walls, the grotesque figures from the paintings now manifesting in 3 dimensions. Panic overcame them, and they broke into a run, the shifting maze conspiring to disorient and confuse them. Sarah stumbled and fell, her flashlight slipping from her hand and rolling into the darkness. The others rushed to her side, helping her up, but when they turned to retrieve the flashlight, it had disappeared. Their feeble screens provided little guidance, and they knew they were running out of time. The sinister forces that dwelled within the bunker were closing in on them. Their sanity began to fray as the walls seemed to pulse with malevolence. With a renewed sense of urgency, they pressed forward, their voices drowned out by the cacophony of whispers and growls that surrounded them. The labyrinth seemed endless, an inescapable nightmare. Then, just as hope seemed lost, they stumbled upon an ancient, rusted door, barely visible in the feeble light. With trembling hands, they pushed it open, and blinding evening sun poured in from the other side. They tumbled out into the forest, gasping for breath, their hearts pounding in their chests. The oppressive darkness of the bunker gave way to the cool embrace of the forest, and they realized they had escaped the clutches of the malevolent maze. As they caught their breath, they looked back at the bunker, now looming silently in the distance. They knew they had been fortunate to escape its grasp, to return from the depths of a nightmare that had swallowed countless souls over the years. The bunker stood as a silent sentinel, guarding its secrets with an unyielding malevolence. It was a place where the horrors of the past had found a home, a place that refused to relinquish its grip on the living. And so, the 4 friends retreated from the forest, forever haunted by the echoes of the forgotten bunker, a place where the sins of the past lingered in the shadows, waiting to ensnare anyone foolish enough to seek its secrets.